Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Girl Chat Sports.
Episode 52.
This is episode 52. Guys, you've got to stay tuned. We have an awesome interview coming up after the break with Erika Fernandez, aka Curlsandsports, a beautiful, lovely lady who is all into her sports and has had some amazing interviews. So we're going to chat with her, see kind of who her favorite was. I mean, people like Simone Biles, Carmelo Anthony, Lala even, Aaron Gordon, Demarcus Ware, Jalen Rose. So we're really interested in talking with her. Please stay tuned. Other than that, football. Like, I could scream, but then when you guys listen to this, it'd probably be really hard in your ears. But I am ecstatic. Training camp is started. Preseason games are starting this week. We had the Hall of Fame game that played last week in Canton, Ohio.
How about them Cowboys?
We'll get back to the Cowboys in a second. Seriously, I don't have words right now. It's football season. It's back. I'm super excited. I can't wait to be on the road watching games, watching 8 screens on my TV, in the morning on a Sunday. Like, these are things that I'm going to be ecstatic for. So games, actually, I think there's a game on tonight, actually. And then Thursday, Friday, there's games this weekend. So just stay tuned. You guys, we're going to be covering all of those. We're going to stick the podcast to twice or to bi-weekly for right now. So just stay tuned. Next podcast, be on the lookout. We've got a wonderful lady who's going to talk to us about fantasy football. I'm going to be in 4 leagues this year. I'm going to try and drag Steph into one with me. So just keep an eye out for us. We're going to talk about fantasy football next week or in next podcast. But anyways, back to football. The Hall of Fame game was last Thursday in Ohio. Both of us, me and Steph, because it's basically us that own our teams, right? Had guys that were inducted. You, of course,
Jerry Jones,
the player, coach, manager, whatever you want to call him, everything guy in the world. So Jerry got inducted. Kenny Easley from the Seattle Seahawks. Major shout out to him. He's actually the fourth player who ever spent their entire Seattle career in Seattle. So him, Steve Largent, Cortez Kennedy, Walter Jones. He is now the fourth person in the Hall of Fame, strictly as a Seahawk. He does not play the LeBron game. Hopping back and forth.
And first time on the ballot, LaDainian Tomlinson and Jason Taylor.
Jason Taylor was a monster. He's still kind of cute, too.
LT, though.
And, yes, LaDainian Thompson, we're happy for him. I'm sure the Chargers fans are happy for him. I mean, they get him in the Hall of Fame. They lose their team all in the same year, so. I know it's bad to laugh at, but I'm sorry, yeah. So let's talk about your Cowboys because Jerry got inducted. You guys played the very first game. You guys had the Hall of Fame game this year. What did you enjoy the game?
So I will admit that I was packing. I was going out of town to Atlanta.
Oh, that's right.
So
Somebody was traveling.
It was on in the background. But I will say in the beginning, we were down, and I thought,
you look
seriously?
Shitty. Let's be honest. You look pretty shitty.
Are we going to lose this game? We did come back to from a 2-touchdown deficit.
You pulled a Falcons move, right? Or a Patriots move, I guess I should call it. You pulled a Pat.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that Darren McFadden is still trying to see if he can make the team once again. So at least he did a little bit in the game.
Is this like 3 times the charm almost? Oh my gosh, jeez. All I can say is I am a new fan. Listen, I like Dak. I like Zeke. Like, I hate the Cowboys for life, but I love Dak and Zeke. However, I will say this after watching the Hall of Fame game, Rico Gathers, number 80, make the team, please. I want to see your arms on the first episode of Arms of the NFL. When I tell you, Rico, this is the guy who played for Baylor basketball in college. He never played anything in college football. Didn't play for Baylor, didn't play no college football, got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys last year in 2016, was on their practice squad, and played this year in the Hall of Fame game. It had the initial touchdown, I think, and then had like 50-some yards. Like, he's tall, he's got arms. Okay, that's enough. I said too much. Too much for a Cowboy. I can't even give Cowboys that much credit. But anyways, so what about Ezekiel Elliott? I feel
like they're dragging this case out to like the bitter last few minutes.
You know
why?
It's
a year
'cause
later.
it's Jerry. Jerry's pulling some strings. Because here's the deal. What happened? Did you see the Undisputed clips when Chris Carter was on with Skip and Shannon on Undisputed? He basically is telling everybody, like, listen, there's some information that's about to be leaked. 48 hours is basically today. We haven't heard anything because this was like Monday when he was on it. But he's like, there's going to be some stuff. It's going to be somewhat kind of like, Deflategate, Tom Brady-ish, like information being destroyed. I'm like, okay, where's the information? Like, I don't want to make anybody injured or anything. I don't want to like, hope for someone's injury to keep them off the field. But if what you did can keep you off the field, Mr. Ezekiel Elliott, for 4 games in the beginning of this season, I'm all for it.
Just make a decision already. Why are they dragging it out?
I mean, you think it'd be pretty clear by now. I mean, it's been a year into the investigation.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But Jerry Jones, of course, is adamant that he'll not get suspended. And as of today, I believe Mr. Goodell, who I love, not. He was still undecided. I just don't get it. How are you not undecided? I don't know. Anything else for your Cowboys?
Kellen Moore, our second guy in charge here, threw for 182 yards, and he got a touchdown, which was okay for being our backup.
That's not bad.
And Cooper Rush actually got a chance, our third stringer, and he got 9 out of 18 and 87 yards. So not so bad for our second
and there's the guy, the wide receiver, Bryce Butler. I saw him. I was like, who is this Butler cat? This Butler guy. He had, I think he got one of the touchdowns too. Basically re-signed with the Cowboys in March, dropped weight, and is looking to have, this is what I thought was funny. They said that they're quoting him as saying he's looking to have his breakout season. The guy's 27. I mean, he's been around for a little while. But I'm all for it. You look great. He was playing great. I was like, who is this guy? I can't stand that you guys have any more weapons. So hopefully, he don't. But he was good. I'll give you credit for that. I'm trying to change my ways here, guys, if you haven't noticed. I'm trying to at least be positive in regards to some aspects of other teams other than just my own. So I'm trying to, turn over a new leaf stuff.
We'll appreciate all the support we can get.
So we'll talk about my Seahawks now because that's what we're going to go with. Cam Chancellor, Mr. Bam Bam Cam, big man in the LOB, re-signed for 3 years, $36 million. $25 million guaranteed. If that isn't a honeymoon present for him and his wife getting married this summer, I don't know what is.
Throw me a bone.
But man, congratulations. And for all of my Madden fans out there, I'm not a video player, but he is actually ranked number 1 in safeties on Madden 2018. So watch out for that if you're playing. Other Seahawk news, I'm really excited for this. Paul Richardson, I've been watching him all last year. He was doing great. He's number 10. He actually apparently has been even running ahead of Jermaine Kearse during their 2 receivers sets at camp, which is pretty amazing. We've got Baldwin, we've got Kearse, we've got Richardson, we've got Lockett back. He's off the PUP list, so I'm really happy for that. Procise, he's our running back, but he also can run, and he already had a couple great long catches from Wilson, I think in yesterday's practice or whatnot. Jimmy Graham went down in weight from 280 to 260, saying he feels like 100 times better. I guess it's all those plane rides that he takes every year. He actually had a picture of him in the plane heading to the VMAC out on Lake Washington, so that was pretty cool. So they're saying that Russell Wilson has more talented weapons this year than other seasons he's had. The only issue, though, is can he be able to see them if we don't have an offensive line that'll block for him? So it appears in camp so far, granted we're only a few days in, it appears in camp they haven't really set, kind of, as should be expected. They haven't really set out as to who's going to be starting for the offensive line. We'll work through those little nooks and crannies as we go through preseason games. First game for us is going to be on Sunday, so I'm going to be watching that one. But I'm really excited. My only thing is that we still don't have a very good backup. We have Trayvon Boykin still and Austin Davis. Neither one of them are great. I still wish we could have signed Kaepernick, and that whole Kaepernick discussion is for another time right now. But me, as a longtime Niner hater, fan, or non-fan, I really support Kaepernick, and I support what's going on, but I am watching football. I am not boycotting football. I don't think I could. I don't think even if it was the Seahawks and Russell Wilson that this happened to, could I have boycott football? I don't think it's in me, in my blood.
Nah, we got to watch some football.
And it's not that I can't just not watch. I want to watch 8 games on DirecTV's NFL Sunday Ticket on my TV from my bed or my couch all at one time. I don't want to go through the Fire Stick. I don't want to flip through and take 20 minutes to find the game. I want to see it now.
That's what I'll be doing.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of the Seahawk news. I don't think. Oh, here's the other thing. We had touched upon it last podcast, but our first draft pick, he was actually in the second round, was our first draft pick for the Seahawks. Malik McDowell. Remember he had the ATV incident where in Michigan where he got hurt. And that he thought he'd be back. Well, he's still out. He actually went back to Michigan to try and get better. So it sounds like it's going to be quite a while before we can actually see this guy play, which is unfortunate for us to have that happen because he was like our very first pick of the draft. And we were really hoping on something with him. So keep you posted on that one. Other than that, the Raiders, they're throwing a huge party this weekend out here because it's the Raiders' first preseason game. And, of course, everybody is now calling them the Las Vegas Raiders out here, even though they're still in Oakland for a couple more years. So I'm going to actually try and attend that over at UNLV.
Enjoy your party because we aren't going to have space to tailgate once they get here. Apparently, right now, the way that the stadium site is, there's only 2,375 parking spaces. And the county code requires 16,250. So the Raiders are in the hunt for almost 14,000 more spaces in the neighborhood where people can park, people can tailgate. So hold your parties until they figure it out.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is one thing, I do not like the Niners Stadium whatsoever because they literally have it in the middle of nowhere, A, and then B, it's like one huge parking garage or you take the BART. So most people take the BART. In Vegas, we don't have a BART. We barely even have a monorail. Our monorail currently doesn't even go out to where the stadium's going to be. Will it? Who knows? Maybe. But as of right now, if they just build one parking garage, huge, imagine the jam it's going to be. It's already bad enough if you go to one of these hotel or casinos for like the Celine Dion show at 9 p.m., have the let out, you're in traffic through one garage for at least a good hour or two. Imagine that being with like 60 or 70,000 people. It's ridiculous. There's not enough Lyft and Uber drivers in the world that could get all those people to the stadium. So it's kind of crazy. What I would hope would happen is that there's a big lot right across from Mandalay Bay on the other side of the freeway from where the stadium would be. And I would think it'd be a good idea for them to build something over there and continue the monorail from right there over so that people can, not tailgate necessarily, but do like maybe some parking over there and then take the monorail across the freeway. That would be my hope. So county commissioners, Clark County planning, let me know.
As of current, there is a homeless encampment on the property.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never noticed one over there.
Yeah, it totally is. But, construction's supposed to start in January, so I guess those people will be losing their homes soon.
Well, and speaking of the Raiders, though, it sounds like, this kind of breaks my heart to say it, but Marshawn has been everything that the Raiders have hoped for in his return.
You're happy about that.
Well, what I am happy about is that I thought that the Seahawks play the Raiders preseason. I think it's like the 31st or 30th of August. It's a Thursday night game. I was actually going to try and go to it thinking, oh my God, it's going to be the last game that the Seahawks are going to play in Oakland while Marshawn's there, blah, 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 whatever. Actually, finding out, thanks to my boy Young, shout out to Young Choi out there, he showed me that the Seahawks will be playing in Oakland during regular season come 2018.
Oh.
Yes, and they'll also be playing in Chicago next year, which I'm really excited about because that's going to be my traveling game for next year.
Speaking of new stadiums, I saw Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Because you were in Atlanta.
This stadium is insane. Insane. So,
well, I mean, if you're going to have Mercedes as like your sponsor,
right.
What do you think it's going to be?
Right.
Right. It's not going to be the Hyundai version, that's for sure. I'm just saying. Even though they get confused sometimes, their lights look a little similar. Anyway, no, but I saw some of your pictures from it. I can't wait to go and see a game. Even if it's not the Seahawks, but I know the Seahawks do play there in 2019. But the Huskies play there actually, I think, next fall. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Check it
Whoop,
out.
whoop, whoop. Speaking of big balling in the NFL, the Patriots are the owners of 2 planes.
Oh.
Yeah, the Patriots bought 2 planes. Like, not like your little pit-pat, personal planes that Jimmy Graham has. Like your 767 big body Boeing airplane body jets. Like, I'm talking, they redid all the insides. They're all first-class seats. They got Lombardi trophies on the wing.
Oh, sure they do.
Yeah, of course they do, because they have nothing else to do. But apparently what does make sense is that chartering flights is getting pretty expensive. And to charter flights for, let's say, the 10 or 8 to 10 away games that you have is like $4 million during the course of the year.
Dang.
And one of these jets used could be like $15 million. So you might be saving yourself something in the long run. But anyway, that's pretty crazy.
Did you get a chance to see Hard Knocks?
Oh, I didn't yet. It started yesterday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Did you?
No, I saw a bunch of highlights though and heard all about it.
Well, I know our girls over at Sisters in Sports are super busy. I try reaching out to them, but I want them to get back on because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the stars of Hard Knock Lives, if you haven't heard yet.
Some of the highlights of the show, I've seriously fallen in love with Jameis Winston. He's so country.
Does he have a twang?
Yes, and he took the show to his childhood home in Bessemer, Alabama, in which he did a play-by-play of cockroaches mating on the stairs. No, he did
not.
It was just hilarious. But, like they did focus a lot on who they call him the franchise or their cornerstone of the team. They also had Gerald McCoy and Kevin Pamphile talking about Game of Thrones on the field.
I love Game of Thrones. Dang.
Dude, Gerald McCoy came to training camp dressed in a kimono.
Real? That's interesting.
Apparently he went to Japan during the off season, so he had to make that known. But
Konnichiwa, Gerald McCoy. O genki desu ka?
But some really other cool highlights. Doug Martin, he moonwalk while a rookie was singing. Apparently he didn't want to give him his 5 minutes of fame, so he was moonwalking to kill his vibe.
Hilarious.
And Winston and then Quan Alexander, when they first saw each other in the locker room, apparently Alexander got red hot hair. And so they were teasing one another about looking like hot Cheetos hair.
Ew, I hate hot Cheetos.
You have hot Cheetos hair.
Oh, gosh.
You have to see it.
So,
it's
yeah,
funny.
I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Probably tonight. It should be on my DVR because I do DVR it every year, so I'll check it out. Moving on a little bit, though. Next show, we're going to be talking about a lot of fantasy football. So what's really important to know is, like, monitoring injuries. Like, I don't know about you, but this year's training camp, I think I've seen the most injuries more than ever. So we know that Ryan Tannehill is going to be gone for a while. He actually tore his ACL partially.
For the season, I believe.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe. Well, Will Fuller broke his collarbone, wide receiver for the Texans. He's out 3 to 4 months. Sterling Shepard has an ankle injury with the Giants. Malcolm Smith, the old ex-Seahawk MVP from our Super Bowl win back in '48. He's out for this season with a torn pectoral. The Jets, wide receiver Quincy Enunwa is sad. I mean, just a terrible injury for him. Has a neck injury, is on IR. So we don't even know if he'll be back or not this season. So things to keep up with are the injuries and what's happening with the players on the side. Make sure you're watching preseason so that when you do have your fantasy drafts, you can make very informed decisions. But also keep a lookout for Brandon Cooks right now. He went from the Saints to the Patriots. I guess he's blowing it up on field right now. They're having some practices with the Jets. He's just throwing down. So congrats to him. Congrats to, it sounds like Jeremy Hill's doing pretty good back with at the Bengals, even though they have Mixon that they drafted this year. Derrick Henry for the Titans. Might be able to see this little Alabama running back come back and make some power moves for the Titans. That should be interesting.
Jay Cutler is back.
For $10 million, really? Did you see his interview? He was like, I'm pretty out of shape, but, we'll talk about it. I mean, I'm a quarterback, so it's not like I have to have high endurance. Really? Miami's offensive line is not great. You're going to be running, boy. Get your endurance up. I just can't.
It can't get any worse for the Dolphins.
I can't. I can't. Him, just stop.
And then Jarvis Landry, he's not signed a contract extension quite yet. There's a few things going on with him as far as what was it, against his ex-baby or his baby mama. They're going through a paternity suit, and apparently something having to do with harming her in some sort of way. So that's ongoing.
Lord. Blah. Oh, gosh. Well, anyway, so football is back. We're really excited, even for college football is starting at the end of the month as well. Funny, interesting story. So Johnny Manziel said if he doesn't get back to the NFL, he would mind coaching college.
Go ahead and move on, Johnny Manziel.
Can you imagine him? First of all, he hasn't left college life yet. So him coaching college, he'd be partying with those boys all day. And probably getting some of the girls too. I'm just saying. I cannot lie. Anyways, we're going to take a commercial break real quick. We're going to come right back with our guest, Erika Fernandez at Curls and Sports. We cannot wait. See you in a sec.
Yo, what's good with it? It's Mr. Mike T, owner and founder of Naked Athletics Fitness Co. You say naked, I say why not? We going for muscle tone, muscle gains, diet plans, nutrition plans, any and everything to get you where you want to go physically and mentally. You can look us up at nakedathleticfitness.com, or you can reach me personally at 929-8791, or you can follow me, and that's on IG at Naked Athletics with an X, not a C, _ fitness team, or even Facebook at MZSTAMYK, and that's Mr. Mike. So contact me today so we can get you going. And remember, nobody stops you but you. And once again, that's 702-929-8791 or nakedathleticfitness.com. Contact me today. Let's get you going. Nobody stops you but you.
Hey, and welcome back to Girl Chat Sports. We are so excited to have our guest today, Miss Erika Fernandez, a.k.a. Curls and Sports. What's up, Erika?
Hi, ladies. How are you?
We're good.
Awesome.
Thank you. So, like I had mentioned, you do have your own, I guess it's like a YouTube/social media presence with Curls and Sports. Tell us about kind of that, as well as your work with Black Sports and Online, and what other kind of projects you have going on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Black Sports Online and Fox as well, they've been such a blessing. But Black Sports Online, my boss, Robert Littal, he is literally the real MVP for the past few years. And the power of social media is probably my best friend at the moment. I met a lot of people, and obviously I met you guys through, social media.
Yeah.
So that's how I met Robert, and we ended up just, obviously just kicking it off. And he's like, you know what, I would love to give you an opportunity. And ever since then, it's been a blessing from the sky. But YouTube, I'm trying to kind of incorporate a little bit more of my own persona on there, like with similar to how you ladies do it with weekly updates, but not to be too overbearing with, similar. I kind of like to take an edge of the Around the Horns or PTRs, kind of give that side of sports instead of, well, the Mets lost today 5-4. Similar to that. Like, obviously, we know the score of the game, but we want a different take. So my YouTube channel, I've had it up for about a year and a half, and I've just been updating all of the interviews, and then obviously I'm thinking about how to kind of edge it out in a way because I feel like YouTube subscribers, they're really, really tricky community.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
I've learned it the hard way. But of course, you have to continue learning and just continue scaling as you go by.
Yeah, we've definitely, I don't really, and I probably need to do better myself as far as focusing our efforts on YouTube, but mostly we do, Instagram is really good. I try to do better. I'm a virgin at Twitter, but I'm trying my hardest. So Steph's more of the girl for that one.
Twitter, Twitter is my favorite of all time.
Okay, good. So what exactly, have you always been like the sports fan, since growing up? If so, who influenced you? And then what kind of grew your whole love of sports and then the whole journalism and the broadcasting piece?
Yeah, well, in growing up, it was definitely a sports household. My older brother, he's a huge sports fan. He's more into baseball, which is why I'm a miserable Mets fan, because he just happened to pass it down to me. And he also is obviously into football and basketball. Obviously, I feel like this town is very much basketball now. It's not really so much of a football town as it once was. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, I'm not a Knicks fan, though. I do cover them, but that's as far as it goes. But I can only wear the orange and blue once, and I can't suffer for life. But
That's funny.
yeah. But at home, it's always been an influence. Like we've had games on in the background, and I guess I was just as a child, I was just obviously he would watch me. We're about 7 years and a half apart, so obviously he's babysitting at 12. I'm gonna be sitting next to him, so might as well I picked it up along the way. And how I got into it has been a really, really interesting journey. In college, I was a communications broadcast major, so I literally sat on my couch one day, and I'm just like, how am I going to try to somehow break into this field? And I figured that writing is my best bet and just continue to grow that strength and obviously blossom it into something else. So that's why I've developed a YouTube channel. I've been working on trying to get a decent following, especially across the channels, because, you know, you have to kind of get, I don't want to say the word, but discovered in a sense, and to be taken serious as well.
Very true. No, very true. So I know we kind of looked a little bit as far as you were at the Giants training camp for a day, and it sounds like you're going to be doing some like coverage of the Jets. Is there like, do you personally have a favorite there as far as the New York football teams go, and then what do you have planned coming up?
Yeah, for sure. As far as the New York teams are concerned, I'm definitely a Giants fan, but I don't hate the Jets.
Right. Okay.
I've never understood that, like why there's always like, oh, I hate the Jets because blah blah reason. But I don't understand, like if they're going to be in the Super Bowl, you're not going to root for them. I mean, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, but
not the Jets.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like Yankee Mets drama. Like I knew a few Mets fans who rooted against the Yankees when they played against the Phillies in the World Series, and I'm like, are you serious? That didn't add up to me at all. So I'm definitely a very big, New York supporter in every sense of the word. I love my underdog teams. I still think the Giants are a little bit of an underdog, despite their recent success.
Right.
But yeah, like that's. It's gonna be exciting times, and I actually am gonna be working with the Jets, as you mentioned earlier. So I'm excited to be returning back for a second season and kind of getting the feel out of how does this work with football. It's a different environment.
Okay.
As a Cowboys fan, you and I are gonna have words this season, ma'am.
I started to share memes already.
Yeah, please do, because we got to keep those coming. I'm a Cowboy. I've been a Cowboy hater since birth, almost. I think so.
I saw your cell phone memes, girl.
That meme had me on the floor. I see so much insult against the Eagles recently, and I'm here for the insult always, but there was one that oh my God, I think it was a dumpster comparison.
Oh, right.
They put the Eagles mark on it.
Right. Well, you and I can get together on the Eagles hate.
Yeah.
Did you see the one meme of the Eagles when it was like, I forgot the guy from the from the Mets who got a ring because they won the World Series, the bad luck guy from 16 years ago, Bronson.
Oh, Steve Bartman.
Yeah, Bartman. So they gave him a ring, and the meme was like, Bartman gets a ring, but the Eagles still don't.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nate Sanders if you're listening, because you're an Eagles fan, and that's funny. So,
you guys just learn how to laugh. Like someone sent me a meme the other day, and this is where I've developed more humor towards the Mets, because at first, like, you know, when you obviously, you know, as professionals in sports, like I'm assuming you guys like have learned how to put your fandom to the side, and you could say, wow, like the Giants really blew it, or wow, the Cowboys really, really messed that up. But there was this one meme that had me dying. It was from a scene from Aladdin, and it was Aladdin and I think it was Genie. And then he was asking for a wish, and he asked, he's like, is there a way you could put the Mets in the playoffs? He's like, oh, come on, Aladdin, you know I can't even do that.
Well, yeah, as a Seahawks fan, I definitely have dealt with all of the ridicule from passing the ball on the 1 yard line. So that continues to be an issue. I felt a little relieved after Atlanta blew their huge lead last year. So that kind of took some of the pressure off me. But still, you know, I was watching, what was I watching? Like Being Mary, or Mary Jane. And they even had snipped a clip of the Seahawks losing, and I was like, really? Like, why do I have to keep on reliving
I
this?
thought that we were done with this.
Exactly. So anyway,
No.
beyond football, I know as a Giants fan, tell me about how did you hear anything while you were there as far as Sterling Shepard and his ankle injury, or were you there previous to the ankle injury?
Well, I actually saw him just doing a little bit of rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's looking pretty good. Like, obviously, it's not like he was doing anything crazy like Brandon Marshall was yesterday. So none of that sort of nature. But I think he's looking pretty good. I think he's just trying to stay in shape and trying to stay as active as he can without making it seem like he's doing leg day.
Awesome. Yeah, right. Well, and then so make sure you do me a favor when you get out to the Jets camp again. I need you to go look out for Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He is a Washington Husky. That's my alumni, and this guy has been working really hard, trying to kind of retransform himself, I guess. But from what I've taken what I've heard is through some of the blogs is that he's really dominating camp out there as their tight end. So I'm really proud of him. So keep an eye out for that.
Same here. I love seeing that, especially when young guys really work their butts off. That's what we love to see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll obviously get hated later in the season, but at the end of the day, it's hard work, and that's something that you can't take away from that person.
You really can't. You really can't. Anything? I know when we were looking at your YouTube channel a little bit, you have the crying Jordan meme of the week. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Jordan fan and I've always loved Jordan, but Jordan meme, that is hilarious. But is there anybody in particular over the last couple of weeks? I know I'm not sure if you had one posted the last week or not, but is there anybody in particular kind of in sports right now that's you're kind of handing that crying Jordan meme off to?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I can't even think about it. But no, I haven't been able to do a recent YouTube because I'm here. I haven't gotten a chance to, in all honesty. But I would think. My goodness, I can't even think. Who do you guys think? Who should we give?
I mean, LeVar should get one every day, in my opinion, but that's just my thing for LeVar. I thought, and I don't know the story behind it, but we had talked about the other podcast about the Jaguars. Their offensive lineman Brandon Albert had retired, and he literally went to say that he wanted to play again. Like
a week later.
Like, what is that? I don't even know what that's about. Like, how do you retire and then say, "Oh, I want to come back"? Like a week later. I don't know what
they're
that
going to
is.
let him either.
How do you do that? Yeah. So
no, he probably did. He probably saw his bank account.
Right. He probably had a meeting with his financial planner, and dude was like, "Listen, I need you back. If you want to pay for all this."
Yeah, it's really true. And I don't know if you guys saw that 30 for 30 where they talked about how NFL players are the first ones who literally go broke. And it's just the count of you're not. Yeah, I think that was the name of it, right? Broke?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then it was like, because you got your entourage, you got all these things you're paying for. You're not realizing how much gets taxed. I mean, I think nowadays they're doing a little bit better as far as offering some of those classes to the rookies in NFL camps and stuff. But these guys, you're coming from, some of them from poverty to getting, $1 million contracts. What do you expect? I mean, they don't have anybody really. And then it's the people that are giving them advice are the ones that are like trying to get something in the same time.
Yeah, I personally love how recently a few older players have been kind of passing the baton and telling them, like, invest your money wisely. Don't go out to the club, There's so many things that you can put your money into. My thing is, the first thing I would get is a home. Absolutely. Yeah. Get a home, make sure to pay it off cash, and I know where the hell I'm staying for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
God forbid an injury or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've had you've had some great interviews though. I saw some with Simone Biles, Carmelo Anthony, Lala, even Jimmy Butler, Jalen Rose, who I love, Demarcus Ware, and Aaron Gordon. Is there anybody in particular that was like your favorite interview that you've had so far?
I think my favorite interview. It's probably a toss-up between He Hate Me.
I love it.
Because he was so down to earth to talk to. Like, he was spewing answers, and I'm just like, wow, like, who would have thought that he would have been, like, one of the coolest guys to talk to? And then probably recently Jalen Rose, because he could talk.
Yeah.
And if you just bring up the topic of football, basketball, he'll sit you right there and he'll talk all he has to do about. And I absolutely loved it.
Okay.
I was surprised that he gave me an almost 30-minute interview.
I saw that. I was like, wow. I wonder if she like incorporates some other things in here. But I was like, nope, it's straight Jalen. All right.
That's cool.
I love the Jalen and Jacoby show too. They're pretty good. They're funny guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then I noticed also that you actually is baseball your first love?
It is.
Okay. So speaking of that, and then as far as you are a New York sports fan, so Yankee wise, we've talked a lot about him on the podcast. I'm in love with him, kind of. Aaron Judge, I'm not even a Yankees fan ever in life, but Aaron Judge would make me get a Yankees jersey.
We love the kid.
We love that kid. I mean,
same here. I love the doing. I think the fan base, especially the Yankee fan base, kind of needs it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were falling off for a second. I feel like the only people that were attending games were just tourists that were just coming into New York.
Well, and I feel like he brings this young edge to the team.
Yeah.
I mean, after Derek Jeter leaves, you kind of are left with a couple names here and there, but he kind of brought this whole like fresh air into into baseball.
Yeah.
Both him, Giancarlo Stanton, this home run thing they've got going on. I think we'll talk about it too. Is like it's like they've got like over 30 some home runs apiece so far this season.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting times to see for the team, and they're even making the division a lot more exciting. Like last year was like, oh my God, the Orioles again, or the Red Sox. But it's kind of like they fell off in a sense, and now they're back and revived.
I love it. And it'll be a great postseason, I think. It's going to be, I think, a great time for baseball's really come back, I think. I think basketball's doing good. There's been some crazy off-season moves, I know. And then I'm just ready for football season. Me and Steph, our faves for sure are football. And, I mean...
Football is my second love for sure. But baseball is like, I personally was super upset when I was reading that the commissioner wanted to drop the season down to 148 or 142 games. I'm like, why are you touching the games? No, there's so many other things. Leave the games alone. No.
Yeah.
I think if we had a pro team here, we would be bigger fans.
I mean, I'm a Mariners fan. So, I'm from Seattle, so I'll always be a Mariners fan. The Mariners are doing great right now. I'm really excited for them because it could be a playoff season for us, which we haven't had in so long. But I know. I think baseball is just I think we really being able to experience baseball live in a stadium is what really makes it, I think, cream of the crop. But anyways, Erika, we really appreciate you coming on. We definitely want to have you back when the season is going and we can talk more football. We can talk about the Jets and seeing what you're kind of ear hustling in there and seeing firsthand. But let our listeners know where they can find you on social media, your YouTube channel, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, on YouTube, quickly type in Curlsandsports. And Instagram and Twitter and all the social medias of the world, same thing, Curlsandsports. And
that's CURLS and spelled out sports, just so I want to make sure everybody could hear it right. So Curls and Sports.
No, smart thinking. Yeah, no underscore nor period.
Right.
No. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, ladies. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
Awesome times talking to Erika, so we'll definitely have to have her back. But before we leave you guys, real quick, big shout out to our girl, Clarissa Shields. We went to one of her matches through Zappos that was here in Las Vegas.
Pro fight.
She literally destroyed this girl on Saturday. She had Nikki Alder. She TKO'd her, won her WBC and the IBF world titles. Only her fourth pro bout. She was in her hometown, well, at least Michigan, at least. She was in Detroit. I think she's from Grand Rapids or something. Flint. Okay, Flint, yeah. So she was in her home field advantage, and she won, and we're really proud of you. Go, Clarissa. We hope, and we really want you on the show one day, so we'll be trying to reach out to you. Other quick news. The Major League Baseball, their trade deadline was on Monday, so that's it for that. It's now going to be the race to the playoffs because season ends the end of September with playoffs starting in the beginning of October. WNBA, nobody can mess with the Minnesota Lynx. That's just it. The end of the season is beginning of September, and then they go into playoffs, so that'll be interesting. Big three, we've had week 5 in Dallas, week 6 in Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. I'm actually going to be there in Seattle for the playoffs playoffs. I cannot wait for that. I go to Seattle in a week and a half, so I get to see the Seahawks-Vikings game on Friday,
Fun.
Big 3 playoffs on Saturday,
What?
and my very first Sounders game.
Yay!
Sports-filled weekend.
Love it.
Anyway, so we'll shoot to oohs and ahs. My favorite O would be from Michael Jordan, who slammed back at Mr. LeVar Ball. Because, obviously LeVar Ball was talking mad, crazy stuff about Michael Jordan, how he could take him back in his day. Well, Michael Jordan was just like, listen, dude, like, I don't even think you can beat me with one leg. With one leg. That's it. If you were one-legged, you couldn't beat me. I don't think he could beat Michael Jordan with one leg or one hand. Like, that's how, yeah. Anyway, so that was pretty funny. For an awe moment, I know you looked into this, but Texas Tech quarterback recruit?
Yeah, Luke Gonsiorowski died of cancer at the age of 18.
18, man. Can I just say fuck cancer? Okay.
It's so sad. He was a native of Baker, Montana, and he had surgery to remove an 8-pound tumor from his lung in 2016. Everybody thought that he was cancer-free. He returned to play football as a high school senior. He became an all-state selection and helped his team to the Class B state playoffs. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. Well, lots of prayers to his friends and family. I mean, it's way too young to lose somebody. So, gosh. So before we leave, though, a real quick shout out. I did get to go back to my girl Kaylee's 100 Ways nonprofit youth football camp over the weekend. We did another one on Saturday where I helped her out with the guest Cameron Colville. Awesome experience again, seeing these young little guys playing football and learning and getting a good experience all for free through her nonprofit is awesome. We're actually going to have her on the podcast one of these days coming up too, so we'll look out for that. Other news, that's basically about it, right?
I think we covered it.
Yeah. So thanks again to Erika. Look out for us next week when we do fantasy football on the next podcast coming up and towards the end of August. Be ready for that, you guys. Steph, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at S_Wash on all social media platforms.
And you can find me, Melissa, at Seattle, 4_life, at Seattle for Life. And you can find us at GirlChatSports, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. What am I else? I forget. Instagram. We love Instagram. And definitely check us out and subscribe to our iTunes. Subscribe, leave comments, check us out, and share it with friends. Okay? Bye. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later. Bye. Thanks for checking out another great episode of Girl Chat Sports. And remember, we don't have balls, but we know how to cover them. Until next time, guys.